The WWE Tag Team Championship. So many prestigious pairs have won WWE Tag Gold. Bret and Anvil, Bubba Ray and Devon, Hawk and Animal. However, sometimes there are those wrestlers out there who have done this, but with more than one partner. Such as who, you ask? Well, they're the topic of this episode, because today... A major thank you to all of my awesome Patreon supporters such as Edgar Perez, Bob86, and Cool Ass Jack. Thank all of you so much. For this video, we're going to be looking at those wrestlers out there who have won the tag team titles with the most amount of partners in WWE. And yes, for the purposes of this video, we're only going to be looking at World Wrestling Entertainment, so any outside tag wins aren't going to count. But before we get started, allow me to ask that you make sure that you tag that subscribe button as well as the like button. Anyway, with that being said, let's get into the list. Let's start things off with our most recent entry onto this list, Rey Mysterio, who joined the Five Timers Club after winning the Tag Team Championship with his own son Dominic. The pair did this after being drafted to SmackDown, but all of Rey's other tag team wins were also for the Blue Brand. Although the exact SmackDown tag team titles are not the same, but you know what, we'll get into that a little bit later on. Mysterio would first win Tag Team Gold with Edge, who is a surprising partner. He would follow this up with a win with Rob Van Dam and a tag team title reign with his real-life friend Eddie Guerrero. This was eventually followed up by a storyline with Batista, where the two would become allies and would ultimately win the tag team titles. The A-lister won the Unified Tag Team Championships with The Big Show. He would win the belts again once they were unbranded with John Cena and the man who is now known as Aaron Stevens. This was part of The Miz's storyline where Damien Sandow would be his stuntman as he would mimic everything that The Miz did, and I thought this was a showcase to just how talented Sandow was. But most recently, he won them during his program with Shane McMahon, where the two would have to coexist as tag champions. And we also have to bring up the tag team of Miz and Morrison, who won championship gold on 3 separate occasions. First was for the WWE World Tag Team titles, but was then followed up by the WWE SmackDown Tag Team Championship, and most recently, the WWE SmackDown Tag Team Championship. Okay, let's try to clarify this just a little bit because this does get a little confusing. Alright, so the WWE Raw Tag Team Championships started out as the WWE SmackDown Tag Team Championship, as first won by Chris Benoit and Kurt Angle. But in order to try and make this a little easier, I'm just going to be referring to the titles as they were when they were won, regardless of what brand they're on now. With that being said, now you know how The Miz and Morrison have won 2 different SmackDown Tag Team titles. Seth won his first tag team championship with his Shield brother Roman Reigns. And what's interesting about this is that unlike the New Day, the Shield never employed the Freebird rule, as Seth and Roman were tag champions but not Dean. But that's not to say that that didn't happen too, as Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose would go on to win the Raw tag team titles not once but twice, which was accomplished after the Shield reunited over on the Raw brand. But that was far from it, because he also won the tag team titles with Jason Jordan, Kurt Angle's son, as well as Braun Strowman for some random reason, as well as his protege Buddy Murphy. And at this rate, it looks like Seth Rollins might just chalk up another tag team championship with a new partner in Kevin Owens. So this is where things start getting confusing. The New Day have won the Tag Team Championship 11 times, although that's not to say that all 3 members have 11 title wins, as Kofi Kingston, Xavier Woods, and Big E collectively have all won the tag team titles while they were unbranded twice. This was then followed up by another 6 wins for the SmackDown brand. But in addition to this, after Big E was separated from the group during the draft, Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston would pick up yet one more tag team title for SmackDown, as well as winning 2 more Raw Tag Team Championships. But while we're on the subject of Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods and the Raw Tag Team titles, let's remember the time that the Street Profits and the New Day were drafted to different shows while they were still champions, and they merely exchanged exchange the belts. Now, you would think that this is a perfectly good opportunity to take the Raw Tag Team titles, which started off as the SmackDown Tag titles, and bring them home to the blue brand. But that didn't happen, as this counted as the titles actually changing hands, with both teams simply continuing the lineages of their new shows. Trust me, I don't get it either. Anyway, continuing Kofi Kingston, him and Evan Bourne won the tag team titles as part of the tag team Air Boom. Additionally, Kofi has also won the tag team championship with R-Truth. Not to mention that Kofi Kingston has also won the old world tag team titles with CM Punk. Now, this is the second time that we brought up the original World Tag Team Championship. And yes, that's a totally different lineage too. Now, if you want to know more about this, I did do a video about it, so just wait to the end and there's going to be a link for that video after this one. Chris Jericho first won the Unified Tag Team Championship with Edge. However, soon thereafter, Edge would have to forfeit his half of the title, since he required surgery after an Achilles tendon injury. So Jericho found a replacement partner with The Big Show. And in addition to this, Chris Jericho has also won the World Tag Team titles too, with both Chris Benoit and The Rock. Jericho also picked up Tag Team Gold when he was partnering with Christian, which just so happens to be one of my own personal favorite pairings, especially during the storyline they had with Trish and Lita, where Trish would turn on Jericho in favor of Captain Charisma. And now, finally, we have a wrestler who has only won the original World Tag Team titles. Mick Foley has the distinct honor of winning the Tag Team Championship with both Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock, and he did so with the latter 3 times as part of the Rock and Sock connection. But he also has multiple World Tag Team title wins with the Big Red Machine Kane, as well as his friend Al Snow, and of course with his hardcore bestie Terry Funk, who was going by the name of Chainsaw Charlie at the time. Funk and Foley, now that is one hardcore duo. And now we're finally moving on from those who have only had a mere 5 partners throughout their career, as this next entry had 6. And what a surprise, it's Edge. What can I say? The dude gets around. As mentioned earlier, Edge did win the Tag Team Championship with Rey Mysterio, as well as also winning the Unified Tag Team Championship with Chris Jericho. And Edge would also win SmackDown's tag belts with his childhood hero Hulk Hogan, and believe it or not, this is Hogan's only tag team title reign. Additionally, he would also win the Tag Team Championship over on Raw twice with Chris Benoit, as well as once with Randy Orton when they formed the team rated RKO. But of course, how could we forget about his main squeeze, his main tag team partner, his best friend for life, Christian, as the duo of ENC picked up the World Tag Team Championship an amazing 7 times. Now, you would think that 7 World Tag Team titles with your best friend would be enough for any wrestler, but what can I say? Edge just always wants more. And in first place with the most championship reigns with different partners, we have Kane. Kane has won Tag Team Gold with The Big Show not once, but twice. First was while the belts were unbranded, but before that, the two won it while it was the World Tag Team Championship. Kane also won the World Tag Team titles twice with Mick Foley, as we mentioned earlier, as well as X-Pac. He would go on to win the Tag Team Championship for the Raw brand with both the Hurricane and Rob Van Dam. And let's also bring up the 2 men who are probably Kane's most well-known tag team partners. Daniel Bryan, who he won the championship with once, as well as his big brother, who he formed a team of, the Brothers of Destruction, who have won the WWE tag titles twice, as well as 1 win for the WCW tag titles, but that was after they were bought by WWE, so it doesn't count. Well, there you go, WWE wrestlers who have won Tag Team Gold with the most amount of partners, but which one of these pairings is your favorite? Let me know down in the comments, and please, make sure you're subscribed to this channel and that you give this video a big thumbs up. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you to all my Patreon supporters, and as always, Dave knows.